Okay, folks, I'm working on a 2015 Concours, and I'm going to do this video up on tips for the Concours. And as you can tell, this is a tank cover. And the tip on this tank cover is, number one, that plastic piece breaks off. Just do you a simple little bracket like that, and that will fix that. I'm going to look into doing a bracket underneath it, but that's another video for later on. The tape on here is to hold that. There's a rubber seal that keeps this from rubbing the paint. And the problem is these seals don't hang on. Yes, there's little tiny clips like right there, but they just don't hold it on. My thing is to tape this and just put drops of super glue around this corner, around these corners. I did that also on the inside. So you can see, well, it's going to be on the inside, so it's kind of hard to see. You don't want to get none on the flat seal itself, because that's where you it goes up against the paint. But you can see that mount right there. These break very easily. This is made of nylon. This is real cheap crap plastic, and I've got it glued together. And I'm thinking I'm putting a piece of strap aluminum across that to try to get it some strength. Just trying to do, come up with ideas to, because eventually it's going to get to where you can't get these plastic pieces, and they're crap made as it is. So if I could take a one and make it better, that'd be better. But anyhow, I'm got more videos. I'm gonna throw together a one big long video of tips. In fact, I'm gonna head out there, and I'm working on the thing when I should be out riding in wonderful weather, but had a flat tire, so crap happens. Anyhow, let me get this other video started, and more tips to come up for the Kawasaki Concours. Alrighty. 2015 Concours, and these videos are going to be on tips, the fixing stuff. As you can see, I got the mirrors off. I had them wrapped. In fact, I'll show you. I got this one up. That's called a forged carbon fiber, and part of my problems, as you can see, the round mount is missing. There was a crack right there. I put super glue. I just pulled this down, put super glue in it, and put it back together. This one was broke off. You can see the cracks in it. I super glued it back in place. There's all sorts of, the plastics go through hell. One tip right here is these are called an M5 rubber mount. When you stick them in, flip that edge up, put a dot of super glue underneath it. These things get old and they start turning, and you'll sit here for hours trying to get this thing off and just cuss and rant and rave, and you'll never get nowhere. Lift that lid up a little bit, slide a drop of super glue underneath that to lock it in place. That expands. Change these out often. You'll go through a bunch of these. Don't go through the headache. Just change them out every couple of years. I'm going through these mounts. This is from Falcon something, and I apologize for the name. I'll probably have it in the description or somewhere. But they fit in. Well, let me get it right. Okay, you can see where my thumb is, how that fits into that little zone right there. There's a curve. Most of it's missing. This one has a little, and because plastics are not perfect, I'm sliding. Let me show you what it is. That piece right there. And I had to file that down to make it fit. Throughout the year, models, I guess, sizes and things change, but I had to file it down Slide that in there, and okay, see, I snapped it in place, and that snaps in against that. That's how that system works. Now, part of my problem, you can see how the whole center section just fell out of that one. This one is barely hanging on. No, it ain't too bad. I guess it did have holes but I could go ahead and use regular mount on that one, but I got to come up with a different mount, so I got to go get some longer screws, and that's not a 10 millimeter. That's going to be not an 8, and I'm not sure on the size. I'm going to guess around 6 or less, but I'm trying different things to make this work out where it can stay. And the other side, I was working with it. I was measuring my screws out. You can see that one's boogered up pretty good, and that one, the center of it's, most of it is out. But pop this out and put this up here, and you can see how this fits in. And this one, I did have to cut that down, or I mean trim it with a file, and it pops in there pretty good. These are really solid. I like this stuff. You know, we got stuff here to repair, and there's no, this tab just goes up to the very end of that cup, or that piece right there. And you can see that I got trouble right there. So what I'm going to try to do is get a longer screw, take a stainless steel washer, and use it to kind of flatten it out. The stainless steel is to keep it from rusting. I don't want it to look crappy. On both sides, both of these, the bottom ones work good. The top ones look like they take the most abuse. Again, down there is where the M5, you see I'll be replacing that. This is the one that gave me a lot of trouble, and I figured out the little super glue trick. So as you see, I've got a great day. I could be riding, but instead I'm out here working on stuff. So more tips. I'll do up a whole video of tips for the Kawasaki Concours. That's going to help you out. So anyhow, you guys have a good one, and I'll see more tips. Okay, these brackets, I'm going to have to figure out how to do this being one-handed. On my dial caliper, this is the end that I have not resized, which means it's the stock diameter, and it comes in right at 10 millimeters. Now this I have filed it down, and most of them are coming around, and come on, get in tighter. I'm sorry, I'm having to work one-handed, and you know how that works. Yeah, about 9.5, 9.4 millimeters. And for you, let's change this over. Boy, this is fun. Bring it over to imperial size, 0.38, and let's see how big the standard size is. I'm going to say that's probably 4. Should be probably 4.4. And try this one. Come on. This should be probably 4. .37. If I move it around, it'll get tighter. It's hard to do, but you can. What I'm trying to show is that you got to trim this end down. This is the end that's up high. This one's down low. In fact, this will be the right side. This will be the left side. Yeah. And you can see the markings. Get it in focus. Hell, I put it flat on there and just had to shave it down to get it where it fits in that hole in that plastic. So, good information. I got to find longer screws than this. So, off to the hardware store. Anyhow, you guys have a good one and hang in there. I got more videos coming up. Okay, Concours 14, things to hold the plastic down. In this area, I'm working on these mounts that, crap, where'd they go? There's these plastic mounts that Falcon Works makes, and they attach to the mirror and always Loctite them in. I've got that in. Trying to think. I'm using a screw at the very top to make a stud system so that sticks out long enough, and it's barely long enough to come out to attach to the plastic. This one is for the other side. You can see I've already got it attached. Again, you have to file these little round pegs. You can see the peg, it goes into that hole right there. You got to file these down, and I showed that in the previous video of the amount. I put a dial caliper gauge on it, but let me try to show you what I'm doing. When you put your plastic on, you'll put the stud over that, put that in, and slide your plastic in. Okay, and you see just how much it's sticking out. I was trying to think how long that booger was. Got my receipt here. Maybe, there it goes. Maybe it'll show. Okay, it's 50 millimeter. It's a 5 millimeter by 50 millimeter screw right there. That's 5 millimeter, 25 pitch, sorry. And it goes right into the Falconware's bracket there. These are like a 5 millimeter by 35. I have 135, 140. That's going to go right there. Okay, now here is a stainless steel fender washer. Forgive me on the size, but I'm going to guess that's around a 25 or so. And I have a lock nut. The screw has come in, and I'm going to take it back apart and Loctite it in place. But put red Loctite on it. But that lock nut is not going to vibrate loose. This I'll put behind the washer. I'm thinking on bending these so they kind of conform to the plastic a little bit more, so it doesn't look, crappy. But what I'm doing is this just falls apart. Now I got to come up with something that makes this stay together. And the place I went and got nuts and bolts at didn't have a stainless steel version. So this one's called black oxide, and it's already getting, I'll have to work with it. but I have a nice cap head like that I'll use right here, and that's to get these plastics to stay on when them pieces break, and I guarantee they'll break. I mean, anything, the force on this, the wind on this bike and everything makes all this plastic crack, and these are ways that I'm coming up with to, you know, hold this plastic and be able to take it on and off with ease. And like I said, this one, I got lucky on this side, and that one did not break. There is no lower one, and if it is, I think it might be on the. Okay, it's on the mirror, and that's the one on this side that's broken. But it fits in like this. And this is a booger to do one-handed. Okay, you see how that slides, that peg slides into that hole? And it's pretty tight. And right there is this, where the stud's going to go through into that hole that's on that. Okay, and you see how all this fits right here. So that is some ideas to get this going, and this is a good idea because it is working. To be able to change your air filter out, you got to be able to get to all this stuff, take it apart, and put it back together. With broken plastics, it does you no good to do that. Anyhow, I'm really glad that they worked these out. As you can see, there's a mount, and it lines right up with that bracket. And so 5mm by 25 pitch. This one is 40mm, and the one for this one is going to be about 30, somewhere around there. But anyhow, that's what's going to fix the plastics, to get it mounted down to where you can take it on and off. But anyhow, that's where we're at. I got more videos to do after this, so we'll catch you later. Okay, while I'm out here working on this, I'll do a video up of my road pegs. And as you can see on the crash bars, I'm using T-Rex crash bars. And T-Rex used to make a set of road pegs for the bike. They don't make them anymore. That, or I can't find them, I don't know. But anyhow, I found these on eBay, and a little bit better look of them. Now they do have a shim, aluminum shim right there, you can see, to reduce that size. That's about a 7/8 bar. That's all billet aluminum. I do recommend red Loctite on everything. They do have a kind of a lock in place, and they are a booger if you're on the road trying to use your foot to flick them down. Now, as you can see, this angle, I kind of got them canted out, and it wouldn't hurt if I cant them a little bit more out, because I'm not, well, my foot getting on there, I kind of feel like I'm going outwards on it. But for now, I'm still in the testing phase on this. Let me show you. It says for Triumph Tiger 660 Sport Tiger adjustable highway peg mounts. They come in a complete kit. I bought this about a month or two ago, and so far it's been pretty good. Haven't been enough good weather to do a lot of riding, but moving your feet forward has been pretty good. like I said, finding mounts for this is pretty hard to do, and I'm kind of stuck because there's a whatever you call that, a rub bar that's kind of keeping me from going down any further. I mean, keeping that mount from going any further. But there's not a lot of options for road bars out there, and I'm trying this one out, and like I said, if you can see the way it's mounted, it's kind of pushed out so you can get to it. If you tuck them in, you won't be able to put your feet on it. But anyhow, that's where I'm at on these. I do have them on both sides. You know, from the front, you can see how I don't know if it's too dark or not. But they're made of nice material. Like I said, use red Loctite. I just went on one ride and it already buzzed a unit off. Let me see, over here where we have light. Inside here is pins, and there's holes drilled, and these pins hold this, keeps this from rotating. You have to be very careful putting that together because these pins are easy to lose, and you need at least 2 of them per side to keep it in place. Now this bolt should have been drilled all the way through, but it's not. If you could drill it all the way through and then put a lock nut on either side, you'd probably get more clamping force on it. But for now, that's what it is. I think they're well made. You get good hardware with them. Like I said, before you head out on a ride, you have to pop these boogers out because they are very difficult while you're riding to get these to pop out. And when you're parked, you definitely want to get these back up because your bike will be about 10 inches wider. And you'll walk past this and catch these and hurt yourself. But anyhow, that's another option for road bars on a Kawasaki, which there's not a lot of options on that anyhow. But anyhow, that gives you another option, so see what you think. Appreciate you guys watching. Hope you like this video. Thanks, and we'll catch you on my next video. Okay, another little tip. I'm doing some work on my mirrors on my Concours, and they come with 3 10mm nuts that fit on this brace right here, or this bracket if you want to call it that. Anyhow, you want to red Loctite them down, and I switched over to, let me get set up. You can see that nut right there. See how it has ridges on the back side? That is to lock it in place a lot better. I couldn't find any 12-point, a harder nut to make it easier. These 6-point tend to round off pretty easily. But when I found these with them serrations on there, it kind of has its own lock nut system. So that is a good tip to keep that bugger in. And also, like I said, use lots of red Loctite on them. Get that stay on. Everything about this bike, it just buzzes all sorts of equipment off. So vibrates them off, I mean. But anyhow, that will help you on making that stay on longer. So another good tip for this video collection. Okay, this will be a better video of this bracket from Falconware. These little knobs where my finger is need to be filed down, and I have been filing this one down and this one is still here, the hole. The other side was broken, and you can see that just barely fits in. and I have to force that booger in. So I did have to take, you can see the plastic embedded in there, but I can get that in now. So hopefully this will help you guys out in figuring out, you know, these need to be filed down at both ends. You can see I filed that one too. And I'm using a 5 by 40 millimeter. 5 is the diameter of that, 40 is the length, 40 millimeter nut. And that is to put all this back together on the Kawasaki Concours. So that was another tip right there. Yeah, you can see that barely fits. You don't want to force it because that will snap that off, and the other side I'm missing that piece. So I had nothing to work with on that other side. But this side hopefully will hold together better. Anyhow, another tip for the Kawasaki Concours. Okay, let's get a little close-up of what the bracket, the Falconware bracket looks like. You can see it's installed in there, and the bracket uses a pin. Well, it slides into that area up there, and it uses one of the bolts that holds the mirror on. I don't know if anybody's ever videoed that, what it looks like. These, when you're installing your mirror, you got to put this on at the same time. It's a big booger to get all them in. Like I said, I had to take a file and file that down so these areas will fit in. Another thing I'm working on, as you can see the plastic over here, is I got a stainless steel washer to spread the load out. That one don't fit right, and I'm working on one that's going to be angled like that. So I'm currently working on a couple of them to replace that, and I'll probably take a black pen ink or something, or paint or something, and try to paint them out so they'll disappear. But fender washers are pretty needed in, especially on this plastic, the way it shatters and moves. I put a bigger washer down on that end down there too. I haven't installed these yet. I've got, remember I did in the other video, this is what I call a fender clip, and it's holding this down very tight, and that's what I was wanting. Anyhow, wanted to show that to you since I don't think nobody's ever videotaped or videoed that. Always Loctite all your nuts in on anything on Concours. Anyhow, thank you. Bye. Okay guys, this is another Kawasaki Concours tip. Now, I've had to take a tire off because I got a real bad vertical shimmy, and I believe I have a bad tire, but anyhow, that's beside the point. When you change tires on the front of a Concours, you're going to end up, the easiest and best way to do it is to take your disc off, one side off. They'll take the machine and they'll clamp to the disc. It won't hurt it. Now, these are the bolts that hold the disc in place. You got 5 per side. And when you, let's see if I can find the, okay, there it is. When you take these off, first of all, you're going to see red Loctite in there. And that's the first problem. The second problem is you need to get really strong Allen sockets here. And don't use the Allen T-handles. T-handles have got too much spring to them. And that spring deflects, and when they get inside that bolt, they strip. And what I mean also by that is that when you get that Allen inside there, you need to whack it sucker and get it down in here as far as possible to get as much contact so you don't screw these heads up, strip them, I mean, because I took a torch to this one, or to another one, I'm sorry, that one that I had to take off, and I grilled a groove in it and then took a hammer and chisel and twisted it to get it to come out. And so now I'm waiting on used bolts to come in. The bolts are unique. They got kind of a cone shape to them with the shoulder that the disc fits on, which holds them in place nicely like that. But I bought a bunch of extras of these because of that problem I had. Use a strong socket. Try not to use T-handles, because T-handles has a spring to it, and that spring deforms and will strip that head on the inside of that Allen out. And this is another tip on the Kawasaki Concours. And I'm losing riding time because of crappy tires. Like I said, I got a tire brand new, and it's got a shimmy in it. If you have problems like that, take them off immediately. That'll be my second tip. Take them off immediately, send it back to the factory, get you another one. Do not take chances with tires and brakes. Anyhow, 2 more good tips, and I got more on the way. We'll catch y'all later. Okay, another tip for the Concours, or basically any motorcycle. If you have a windshield and you use a cover, like you got a cover right there to protect your bike and make it look pretty for a long time, put a towel over your windshield. I found out this year through a storm that I had to replace a windshield because the winds were whipping so hard that it worked like sandpaper, and it scratched my windshield all up. Now, any manufacturer will tell you on these covers that, you know, they're soft and all that stuff, but still, with bad weather, taking something like that and rubbing it against a soft windshield will make them turn into something that looked like somebody took a sandpaper too. So before you put your cover on, put a towel over that, and it'll help protect it. Another in a long line of my tips. So catch you on the next video. Okay, another tip on the Concours. These hold the axle nuts in place while you're twisting the nut end off. Makes it very handy to get the axle nuts off when you're changing tires. This is an aluminum one, and this is a steel one. And you can see the sizes. That's 22, and that's 24, and that's a 19. What I do is I cut that little end off. That should be a 17 on that. This one I keep in my driveway. It's kind of hefty, kind of weighty. This one I put on the motorcycle, and there's no marked sizes on it. And this one I put on the motorcycle to make it lightweight to carry with. And I use one of these very thin wrenches, 24 millimeter. Should fit on that side, and it makes it easy. And this is all lightweight to carry. It's what I carry on my motorcycle, on my Concours 14. So another tip right there, and we'll catch you on my next video.